This video has some very minor spoilers for Haikyuu up to season 4. You should be good, but just in case you're really sensitive to spoilers, here's your warning. Alright, we're gonna talk about the Haikyuu soundtrack today. I have this OST to thank for so much in my life. This shit got me through basically every study session in university. It's helped lift me out of depression, it's restored my motivation, it brought my grandpa back to life, and most importantly, I listen to it while I'm playing in Smash tournaments, and then lose anyway because I'm more focused on the music than I am on the game. Also because I'm bad. Point is, this OST bangs, which, if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you already knew that. The main composer for Haikyuu, Yuki Hayashi, is an absolute fucking legend in the industry. He's also composed the soundtracks for a shit ton of other anime, from Gundam to Precure, Death Parade, Run with the Wind, Kisniver, and a little-known show called My Hero Academia. Haikyuu's soundtrack offers a lot of variety with different tempos, moods, and instrument selection to represent the many different types of situations and feelings that you come across in matches. Need a song for when the team is losing and needs to look up and feel hopeful and motivated again? Play a track like this, that's slower and hope-inspiring. Need to shift things up a gear because we're playing for match point? Play something crazy intense to raise anxieties and uncertainties while keeping up the excitement. One thing they do that I love is when they toss the main melody back and forth between a wide variety of different instruments to keep things interesting. This piece throws it around between strings, piano, almost as if it was mimicking a volleyball quickly being passed around the team, with each team member having their own instrument to represent their unique playstyle and personality. But having a good soundtrack and actually using that soundtrack to the fullest potential are two very different things. Fortunately for us, Haikyuu executes its soundtrack usage amazingly, and we're gonna take a look at how it does that. Now, Haikyuu obviously has a ton of super iconic and hype scenes that use the soundtrack really well, but for this video I actually just want to focus on one example, otherwise we'd be here all day. And this is a scene that I really think could use more love. It's not one of the main standout scenes that a lot of people always talk about, but it's one that I always end up thinking back to just because of how well I think the song was used in it. The song is called Seagulls, and the scene is Hoshiumi's introductory match in episode 12 of Haikyuu's 4th season, Haikyuu to the Top. Now, to get into some context, Haikyuu's main character, Hinata, is a short person, a bit of a short king, if you will, trying to play a sport where height is pretty fucking important. So this whole time he's been overcoming this big obstacle, working hard until he's able to play just as well and jump just as high, if not even higher, than any other skilled player who's way taller than him. And then in season 4, we get introduced to Hoshiumi, and his main thing is, well, he's also short, but he's even better than Hinata. They're calling him the Little Giant, which was the nickname of the player who originally first inspired Hinata to start playing volleyball in the first place, despite his height. And this character is introduced as someone for Hinata to both admire and want to surpass. So given that, it's really important that during his introductory match, the music that goes with this scene complements that message, that this guy is someone who's able to overcome his physical limitations and jump up to heights never before seen. We need to portray him as being physically as high up as possible, almost like you're watching, well, a bird. And that's exactly what we get.
Hoshiumi 高来169センチ。
We see the whole team watching this guy play, and especially Hinata getting a sneak peek at his dream. And it looks beautiful. Now, getting into the music a bit more, there's these two main melodies that are heavily featured in this song, which I'll call the Buildup and the Payoff, or just the A and B section if you prefer that. Buildup sounds like this. And the Payoff sounds like this. And by the way, the Payoff has these little claps. And they're fucking great. It's like this guy's got his own little cheer squad to clap for him in the middle of his theme song. But anyway, in this scene, the two melodies alternate a few times. At the beginning, when Hoshiumi is first introduced, we get the build-up.
Hoshiumi 高麗169センチ
We're learning about who he is as a player for the first time. The other players are talking about him, and we're starting to see him in action. After we've seen a bit, we get a hint of the payoff melody, but it's still kind of in the background while the song's still ramping up. And during this part, Hinata's seen him play a bit. He's gotten a bit of payoff, but it's not enough. Now he wants to get closer and see more. And as he's watching, we're musically building up more and more. It's getting louder, the notes are rising in pitch as if they're following Hoshiumi up as he's making his jump until we get to the real payoff moment. But the most important part of the scene actually comes after this, and that's the alternating shots between Hoshiumi doing his victory poses, taking in the crowd's cheers of support and enthusiasm, and Hinata just staring at him, looking like a fucking NPC. But notice something. What part of the song is playing here? Yeah, it's the build-up melody again. But what are we building up to? Well, I could be pulling this out of my ass, but to me, this shows Hinata building up his motivation. He's now seen the next level. He knows what he needs to surpass, and he is ready for it. Ending with the build-up melody means that we're building up to some shit that you haven't even seen yet. Like, oh, you thought this shit was good? Wait till you see what we've got coming up next. Also, this song is just really well named, because it does kind of sound like a seagull majestically flying above the ocean, looking at everything, in like a beautiful freedom kind of way, not a steal your burger at the beach kind of way. Also, this dude just literally looks like a fucking seagull. Of course I did mention this, but there's about 5 trillion other examples of Haikyuu using the soundtrack amazingly to support the show. So if you've got your own favorites, throw them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching as usual. Like and subscribe, join the Patreon, blah blah blah, and your stinky go away.